Yeah, that's one of the things that I've been researching, trying to figure out how to use, like, fight fire with fire type thing, or maybe more of a judo analogy. But I want to create like a retail investor protection association where we try to get a Retail Investor Protection Act passed by Congress that limits things like um, dark pools, naked shorting, swaps, high frequency trading. So like you can't trade the same share a million times in a couple nanoseconds. Like whenever you buy a share, you're stuck with it for 5 or 10 minutes, things like that. And to even the playing field. But the only way it would work is if we can donate to campaigns and have lobbyists and do the things that all these big investment firms do, but on, play on their level somehow. And
Yeah, but the only thing
yeah,
is you might be paying a lot of money to try and get in there, but they're going to be paying twice as much as you are,
exactly. Like
5 times as much as you are.
yeah. So what else can we do? I mean, like we do. We're the workers. We don't have the ability to hop on our planes and fly to DC and march in huge numbers. There's a
You know
valiant
what you
effort
do?
tried this weekend, and 80 people showed up.
No, you know what you do?
Yeah.
You actually push bank runs.
Yep. Hey.
That's it. That's it, man.
Yeah.
It's that simple. If everybody in the United States wants this shit fixed, you crash the fucking banks. It's
Yep.
that simple. Everyone pull all your money out, go to a credit union, get your loans over there, pay your credit cards off, anything that involves
Yep.
an ISDA related bank. Because think about it. There's $80 trillion already exposed from these guys.
Yeah.
Their collateral is us.
Yeah.
Take it out of their bank, take it out of their system, take their collateral away. Now they're now the rest of the world's margining them.
Yeah.
China,
Hey.
now China's like, hey, and now you destroyed the system that is broken.
Yeah. Part of China's problem is that there's bank runs happening on all their banks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Everybody bank runs are the answer for all of this because who's the problem? It's always the banks. JP Morgan is the biggest criminal organization in the world.
Hands
They
down.
literally
Yeah.
have gotten caught.
Jamie Dimon's evil.
Oh my God, they've gotten caught with 20 tons of coke on a
Yeah.
shipment of their. I mean, think about it. And then right after they get caught working with cartel, laundering money for cartel.
Yep.
So they're probably the biggest drug lords out there. 3 or 4 of their people got caught on Epstein's Island and for their executives and all of these documents and the Pandora Papers.
Yep.
They just stepped down
Yeah.
before the name all the stuff got released.
Yep.
So they're out there doing nasty, that pedophile gross shit. Like I said, they're the worst people ever. They have the most fines ever out of all the banks. On top of that, they're at 53 trillion. They're the highest in the derivatives.
Yep.
You crash JP Morgan, you bring everything down.
And JP Morgan's been pulling back, removing themselves from the DTCC, and all their subsidiaries making their own clearinghouse because I think they see what writing on the wall, and they're like, "Oh, like it's bad enough where we are."
That's what's like I said. These banks. I mean, that's the thing we can do. It's the biggest way you make the wheel stop turning. It only turns with cash.
Yeah.
Take your cash out of them, get rid of their collateral, and let everyone else margin them.
Yeah.
And that's why I keep saying phase 6 is the answer because we're going to keep trying to pull the criminality because all our politicians, our regulators, our cops, everything. I mean, I'm not going to say but cops, but like the Doge, obviously,
Yeah.
SEC, regulators, FINRA, they're all in it together.
Yeah.
They're going to keep it going, but the rest of the world's going to hold them accountable when $200 trillion is destroyed their entire economy. They're like, no.
Yeah. So for those who don't quite know the recent history backstory of JP Morgan Chase. So you had Chase Bank, which was headed by Jamie Dimon. And when JP Morgan was faltering after the collapse of Lehman, after the collapse of Bear Stearns, JP Morgan was about to go down next. And Chase Bank stepped in, bought him up for a song. We're talking like a I don't know, maybe a penny on the dollar type deal. Picked up JP Morgan. Was like, oh yeah, we'll take all this. And then I don't know, 3 weeks later, Washington Mutual gets seized by the FDIC. Washington Mutual at the time was the largest savings and loan in the world. They controlled like $800 billion in assets or something ridiculous like that. And which, the banks now are so much bigger. But they got seized by FDIC, and overnight, without any bidding being done, they sold all the holdings of Washington Mutual to JP Morgan Chase for like a third of a penny on the dollar. For like $1 billion, they picked up $800 billion in assets. And managed to like say, but we don't want any of the mortgage-backed securities. You guys can keep those. And the FDIC was like, totally. And now,
yeah, there was no backdoor deals there. Nobody else,
Yeah,
it's pure corruption. That's why it's like, man, these banks, all this stuff, they're so intertwined, but you can't hide trillions and trillions from everybody else when you destroy their economy.
Yep. And the deal for JP Morgan was done. Oh, sorry, yeah, the deal for JP Morgan was done, if I remember correctly, without JP Morgan ever being invited. So there was like this meeting between the SEC, the Fed, and these banks, and they basically didn't invite JP Morgan. And they're like, "So what are we gonna do about this?" And JP Morgan and Chase was like, "We'll buy them. Done."
Insane, dude.
Yeah. Absolutely bonkers. And something similar happened with Bear Stearns too, and they let him go under. They had another meeting with everybody, and everyone's like, "Well, we'll just sacrifice Bear Stearns. Good enough for me." Well, we're inviting Bear Stearns to the meeting. So if you are a banker and you find out there's a meeting you were invited to, that means you're next.